bàbá mi kí ẹ̀yin ìyá mi máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí bàbá wọn ní àpòmọ̀ àwo kẹ̀ẹ́pẹ́ fún wa o ẹ̀tọ́ ìbàjẹ́ o kí ẹ̀yin bàbá wa pàápàá jùlọ ìdílé Oyin Adejobi bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí àǹtí wa àti àǹtí Yẹ́misí ẹ̀pẹ̀lẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ àtijọ́. I warmly welcome distinguished professor of theatre, Professor Ahmed Yerima. My colleagues, I see Dr. Yemi Atuba, and other colleagues here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends, our children from various schools, you are welcome. We are very lucky to be part of an occasion like this. Let me say, as they say, that all protocols duly observed. I want to commend and congratulate the Center for Culture and International Understanding for putting together this particular program in order to enable us to remember our past so that we can properly understand our present, the aim of getting a better future. This is not the first. The center has organized so many of such programs for Drola Dipo, for Wakundai, Raino Ilami, and other artists who were there at the beginning and who have served as mentors and inspiration for new generation. So this program is very, very important. Let me say that what we call Nigerian film tradition today, that some people call Nollywood, the story cannot be complete without mentioning Oyin Adejobi. The history of Yoruba popular traveling theatre will not be complete without the story of Prince Oyin Adejobi. In any case, when you are talking about African theatre history, the story will not be complete, but the history will be inadequate without a good knowledge of Oyin Adejobi. And first is concert, theatre, and later Oyin Adejobi traveling theatre. So my brief presentation is just to underscore some points about the life and legacies that Oyin Adejobi made while alive on African theatre history. First, Oyin Adejobi was one of the major artists that point attention to the city of Osogbo as the home of Yoruba art and culture. In this, it shares the same origin with the late duo Ladipo. At a point, he was from Ekiti, Gbemisola specifically, but he came to limelight when he started practicing theatre in the city of Osogbo. And I'm talking of no other person than who was a companion of Duro Ladipo at that particular time. It was in the same city that we had Aneolorita and Olibaya, who also contributed to Osogbo as the center of art. Not talk of others like Chimo Braimo, Muraino Oyelami, Babawa Ifayemi Elebuibo. So when we are talking of headquarters of Yoruba culture, art, and entertainment. Osogbo strikes a golden cup, apart from others like Ibadan and then Lagos. So Oyin Adejobi was part of the people that gave prominence to Osogbo, to Osogbo as the city of Yoruba art. Apart from that, when said the history of Nigerian film in contemporary area will not be complete without Oyin Adejobi, I also mean that if you look at those who thrived in that tradition today, some of them had their background in Oyin Adejobi theatre. So Baba was a mentor. Apart from his own practice, he was able to mentor other artists, and that is why his legacy can never be eroded. No matter how strong the eraser is, you cannot erode it, because we have prominent people. For instance, Baba Wande, popular Baba Wande. Not many people know his real name as Karim Adeoti, but they know Baba Wande. And Baba Wande was a prominent figure in Oyin Adejobi theatre. He worked with him for about 25 years before he left and then went his own way. This the three-part series. Those who are familiar with the Yoruba film know that this marks a strong point in Nigeria, in Yoruba film tradition. You also have Colloquium. Colloquium was with Baba for about 9 years, I think from 1964 to 1973, before he joined the University of Ife Theatre. So if you're talking of somebody who traversed the tradition of theatre practice, you see that in Oyewo, who started with the traveling theatre and then went to the university to be part of the literary theatre tradition before he joined the academics as a scholar. All the knowledge that he gained under Adejobi were quite useful for him as a lecturer, because he was able to combine theatre practice with the academic tradition in his own way. I will not forget Paulo Ede. I remember one of his series, Ashiba. Paulo Ede and Baba Wande, they are always antagonistic. Then Alabi Yellow, that's another fantastic person in Yoruba theatre. And Larry Paimon was with Roladipo, but he also had a stint with the Oyin Adejobi. But at a particular point in time, he was the manager of the theatre, according to history. So, another point to make is that Baba was a playwright, but he represented the actor-manager tradition. And in Yoruba traveling theatre, the man at the center of the theatre is usually the originator of the story, is a composer, is the manager of the whole group, apart from being the head of the family, the husband of many wives, the father to children, and all of them, they are part of it. So most of the plays were originally composed and written by Baba. He was also the composer of music, of songs in that situation. And of course, it is not only the drama that is important. Even the songs, you're welcome. Even the songs, the lyrics are always meaningful, and they contribute to the theme of the plays that they presented. Papa, like others, explored and started with the stage tradition. I remember around 1984, around 84, when the troupe came to Oyo, as part of the itinerant theater tradition. They came to perform to us for us at Olivet Baptist High School in Oyo. That was Oyin Adejobi. That was my first encounter with the theater, and everybody was thrilled. Nobody left the hall without tears in the eyes as the story explored intrigues, the adversities, and of course the success that is likely to follow somebody who is determined to succeed in life. He explored the stage. He also explored the radio. Okay? They used radio drama to reach their audience apart from the radio. I remember one episode. It's not in full now, but I think it was Tafa Oloyede. Somebody was called. He was calling. Okay, Baba Wale was calling Oloyede Dedembula Dede, and the man was resisting, and it became a fight that had to be adjudicated upon. So they also used the radio. And apart from that, the photo play magazine, Atoka, some of the plays were serialized through that medium. So for scholars who are interested in theater history, all of these platforms were the legacies or were the antecedents of what we now know as the Nigerian film tradition. Apart from that, as our father, Agomo, earlier referred to, they had a regular slot on Nigerian Television Authority in those days, especially with Kotu Ashipa. Kotu Ashipa is the typical Yoruba judicial tradition, how disputes are settled among individuals, either within the family or as people in the society. And when you look at the role Baba played, apart from being Baba, Baale, the man with wisdom, who is always respected, is always fair in its adjudication. It's quite different from the English jurisprudence that we try today, where you don't go to court and come back as friends. No. Rather, it's usually even-handed, so that the person who is guilty will know that, yes, truly he is guilty and he has to make redress, while the person that wins also know that there is a need to maintain peace, stability, and balance in the society. So the television was there, and when the film came, just like Ogunde, Gbemisola, Adejobi, Baba also explore that medium to reach the audience. So if some people are tracing the origin of Nollywood to they are living in bondage, I say this is an error. Nigerian film history started much earlier than 1992, when they had their living in bondage. And this, we should give credit to people like Papa Oyin Adejobi, Ogunle, and so on. One thing that I find unique in the theater of Oyin Adejobi is that while his colleagues were exploring Yoruba myth, Yoruba mythology, stories like Aye, Jayezimi, Elemoso, and so on. Baba was exploring stories of daily living experience, okay, of interpersonal relationship within the society, stories of our everyday life that you can find on the streets, rather than the mystical. Of course, he had the mystical ones, but those that predominated in his dramatic work were those that deal with us in our present living, everyday experience on the street. Especially when you look at series in Kotu Ashipa, Okay, or a story like Uye. They deal with everyday family issues, husband and wife, land disputes, chieftaincy, wahala, stories of envy, jealousy, greed. Those are the issues that Baba explored in his dramaturgy. That was what endeared him to many people. Baba started as a clerk. He was still working with the local government while he had his own traveling theatre tradition. So some of the experience that he had in the work were quite handy in his plays. Among his plays, we'll talk about Koto Ashiba. He had Oyin Adejobi. One important play is his adaptation of Oludaramola's play. Yoruba play. Ilé tí a bí tọ́mọ. Ilé tí a bí tọ́mọ. Ilé tí a bí tọ́mọ is a Yoruba written play, and Baba adapted it to the stage. In fact, it was that play that gave Baba one day his prominent name. Both Otokiti, who is the lead character there, was played by Baba one day. Karim Adeoti. That name God glued to the man till today. So this points attention to one of the sources of the plays of Yoruba popular traveling theatre practitioners, adaptation of literature to their works. It's not surprising that we had other examples after these ones, like Nde Kelani's adaptation of Akiwumi Shola's Oleku, Paleti's Bashorunga, among the other works, Uweje by Remde. So he also contributed to the tradition of adaptation in that situation. So, as the lead paper presenter, I'm only trying to whet your appetite for those who are actually going to make a real presentation and going to come after me. But I think what we need to do, and as recommendation to the Oyin Adejobi family and the Center for Black Culture, is to, apart from initiating an Oyin Adejobi Foundation, to see how we can have a museum dedicated to the legacies and memories of this man for his contribution to theatre. When you get to Stratford upon Avon in UK, that is where Shakespeare was born. But immediately you enter the town, everything that you find, in that city is breathing Shakespeare. The trees, the cup, the biro, everything. People brand them, and anybody who visits that place will know that this is a birthplace of William Shakespeare. I think we are not going to be doing too much if we think in that direction in sustaining the arts and legacies of Prince Dr. Oyin Adejobi. Thank you.